Rogers was born on August 21, 1938, as the fourth child among 8 siblings, at St. Joseph's Infirmary in Houston, Texas. His parents were Lucille Lois Rogers, who worked as a nurse's assistant, and Edward Floyd Rogers, a carpenter. Rogers was believed to have Irish and Native American heritage. He attended Wharton Elementary School, George Washington Junior High School, and graduated from Jefferson Davis High School in 1956. In 1949, Rogers won a talent show at the Texan Theatre. He started working as a busboy at the Rice Hotel and as a floor sweeper at a hat store, earning $9 a week. He later enrolled at the University of Houston. During an appearance on The Phil Donahue Show in 1986, Rogers shared with the audience that he was the first person in his family as far back as we know to complete high school. "We were financially struggling. We resided in a federal housing project. My father's income rarely exceeded $75 a week. There were times during my childhood when I wasn't really hungry. I always had enough to eat. But it's undeniable that our family faced nutritional shortages at times. We would have peanut butter sandwiches because that's all we had. Frankly, as a child, you're not aware of anything different. You assume that's how everyone eats." In a recording career that traces back to the 1950s, Rogers transitioned from teenage rock and roll to psychedelic rock before establishing himself as a country pop crossover artist in the 1970s and 1980s. His initial solo success in 1957 with That Crazy Feeling was followed by a period where he joined the Bobby Doyle Three, a jazz group frequently booked by clubs due to their loyal fan base. The group signed with Columbia Records, but disbanded in 1965. An attempt at jazzy rock with the single Here's That Rainy Day on Mercury Records in 1966 didn't gain traction. Rogers also explored roles as a producer, writer, and session musician, working with other artists including country figures Mickey Gilley and Eddie Arnold. Joining the New Christy Minstrels as a singer and double bass player in 1966 marked another phase in his career. Following his departure from the first edition in 1976, after nearly a decade of association, Rogers secured a solo contract with United Artists. This led to a productive collaboration with producer Larry Butler that spanned 4 years. Rogers' first release under this new label was Love Lifted Me. The album achieved modest chart success, and singles like Love Lifted Me and While the Feeling's Good earned some recognition. The song Runaway Girl featured in the film track Down, 1976. In the same year, he released the self-titled album Kenny Rogers, which included the solo hit Laura, What's He Got That I Ain't Got? The single Lucille, 1977, became a major hit, topping the pop charts in 12 countries, selling over 5 million copies, and firmly establishing Rogers as a solo artist after the first edition. Riding on the success of Lucille, the album Kenny Rogers reached #1 on the Billboard Country Album chart. Rogers continued to achieve more success, with multi-platinum album releases like The Gambler and another international #1 single, Coward of the County, from the equally successful album Kenny. In 1980, the partnership between Rogers and Butler concluded, though they would sporadically reunite, such as in 1987 for the album I Prefer the Moonlight and again in 1993 for If Only My Heart Had a Voice. In the 21st century, at the age of 61, Rogers regained the #1 spot on the charts for the first time in over a decade with the 2000 single Buy Me a Rose. This feat allowed him to surpass Hank Snow's 26-year-old record, set in April 1974 at age 59 with Hello Love. However, Rogers' record was eventually broken in 2003 by then 70-year-old Willie Nelson, who secured a #1 on the country charts with his duet with Toby Keith, Beer for My Horses. In terms of his live performances, while Rogers enlisted various session musicians for his recordings, he relied on the backing of the group Bloodline during his tours starting in 1976. Bloodline initially started as a 3-member ensemble. Rogers, in his autobiography The Journey, expressed his preference for a consistent touring band, explaining that he stuck with Bloodline as they were already familiar with his songs. The members of Bloodline have included Steve Glassmeyer, Chuck Jacobs, Randy Dorman, Gene Golden, Bobby Daniels, Rick Harper, Edgar Struble, Lynn Hammond, Warren Hartman, Gene Sisk, Brian Franklin, Mike Zimmerman, and Amber Randall. At Beaver Dam Farms, a former estate located in Colbert, Georgia, Rogers had a pet goat named Smitty. He acquired the goat from a friend in 2008, and according to Rogers, Smitty became a source of comfort and tranquility for him, especially after enduring long and stressful touring schedules. Throughout his life, Rogers entered matrimony 5 times and fathered 5 children. His initial marriage took place with Janice Gordon on May 15, 1958. They separated in April 1960 and had 1 child, Carol Lynn. Subsequently, he wed Jean in October 1960, but their marriage concluded in divorce in 1963. His third marriage occurred with Margot Anderson in October 1963. They divorced in 1975 and had 1 child. Rogers entered his 4th marriage with Mary Ann Gordon on October 1, 1977, and their marriage concluded in divorce in 1993. They had 1 son, Christopher. His 5th and final marriage was with Wanda Miller on June 1, 1997. Together, they were blessed with twin sons and remained married for 22 years until Rogers' passing. In 2017, Rogers' remarkable 7-decade career began to wind down due to health issues, including a diagnosis of bladder cancer. On March 20, 2020, at the age of 81, Rogers passed away while under hospice care at his residence in Sandy Springs, Georgia. He was laid to rest in Oakland Cemetery in Atlanta. The passing of Kenny Rogers on March 20, 2020, at the age of 81, left a profound sense of sorrow and loss among his fans and admirers around the world. As an iconic figure in the realm of music, his unique voice and remarkable career spanned several decades, touching the hearts of countless individuals. Rogers' warm and resonant vocals, coupled with his timeless hits, had an unparalleled ability to evoke emotions and create lasting memories. His departure was especially poignant given his enduring impact on the music industry. With a diverse repertoire that ranged from country to pop, Rogers managed to bridge genres and generations, fostering connections across cultures. His songs not only entertained but also carried messages of love, reflection, and the ups and downs of life. This made his loss deeply felt, as fans remembered the moments his music had accompanied them through, becoming a soundtrack to their own experiences. Beyond his musical contributions, Kenny Rogers was cherished for his humility, authenticity, and the genuine connections he formed with his audience. His performances felt personal, as if he were singing directly to each listener, making his passing akin to losing a dear friend or confidant. In the wake of his death, tributes poured in from fellow musicians, celebrities, and fans alike, highlighting the indelible mark he had left on the world. His legacy lives on through his timeless songs and the memories shared by those who were fortunate enough to be touched by his artistry. While Kenny Rogers may have left the stage, his music and the emotions it stirred continue to resonate, reminding us all of the enduring power of his legacy.